Good morning and welcome to the podcast. My guest this morning is Frye. He's the Director of Operations at Pioneer Career and Technology in good old Shelby, Ohio. How are you doing, young man?
I'm doing very well. Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have you here. You're pinch hitting today for Greg, the superintendent, Greg Nicolai.
Yes, he's in a meeting in Columbus. I'm happy to fill in his place.
Well, we've talked before, and
We have.
you're quite knowledgeable of the operations and quite competent. So today we're going to take you down to many areas here. I know that this time of year we're getting in now where people are kind of thinking about making some commitments for the future to come to be a part of the programs at Pioneer.
Correct. We are in full swing for recruitment for next year's incoming class. That process takes us to all 14 partner schools that feed into Pioneer. Our school counselors spend time in classrooms at all of those schools during the late parts of the fall. They meet with sophomores, talk about what Pioneer has to offer, take them through a virtual tour through our website of the Pioneer campus and building. Students have the opportunity to check out our programs, learn a little bit more, ask questions. When they're done, they fill out a form and they choose 3 programs that they want to come to Pioneer and visit during our sophomore visitation the last week of January.
Okay, so that's coming up.
That is coming up very soon, yes.
All right, now what I like what you're telling me about this, you see, over the years, it's like anything else, you hone these things and refine them. So you guys have a system.
We do. We have a system in place.
Yeah, in the fall you start setting this thing up.
Yeah.
Then by the time late January comes around, we're starting to do these sophomore visits.
Correct.
Again, they choose out 3 areas that they think they could potentially be interested in.
Yeah.
Now, let's go from that point. Where does this go from then when we get into this?
So we will have 2 full days of sophomore visits. We'll have a little over 1,400 sophomores go through our building on those 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Then the evening of the second day, we will have an open house where those sophomores can then bring their families back to Pioneer and visit the labs, talk to the teachers a little more, allow parents to ask questions, parents to see the building who may have never been to Pioneer before. From there, students have the opportunity to fill out our application to attend Pioneer. Our application is online. There's a link that will be live on our website for students to go to who are interested in attending Pioneer. Usually a few weeks after open house, we will have a second look open house for any of those families that say, we're interested, but we want to take one more look.
Yeah.
And then for us, the process from there, we will take all of those student applications, review them, verify that it's a student from one of our partner schools that's applied to come to Pioneer, because with the application being on our website, we have in the past had students from even other states who have found our website, clicked our link to apply to come to Pioneer. So we do have to go through those applications.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of people and quite a bit of time to check those over and go through those.
Well, yeah, you have to be eligible.
Yeah, you do have to be eligible to go. Yeah, we've had middle school students click the link to
Really?
come to Pioneer. Yes, students very young are interested and want to come to Pioneer.
They
so
just really love the program that
they
much.
They do. So we have to take a look at that. And then for us, usually mid-February till the first or second week of March is our time to go through that process, make sure those applications are where they need to be, and start the process of filling our labs for the following school year.
Now, when you mentioned something that kind of caught my attention there, how many people come in for these, what I call second looks? Maybe they were there, and would you say, what percent-wise? Just
Probably 30% of the parents and families that come the first time. And we do that as well because we understand that there are a lot of things that go on in families' lives. Myself, I have a son that's in junior high. He's got basketball. He's in the orchestra. If you have a family event during the evening of our first open house, we want to provide another opportunity for those families to come later, give them time to make plans and schedule that in so it fits for them.
yeah, life is complex.
It is. It's very complex. I have a daughter that's a senior that attends Pioneer. She's in one of our College Now programs, so I understand what it's like to have students, children involved in a lot of different activities and schedules that always don't line up.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can, and as a institution, you plan certain things based on it, but even the best plan,
You can never
Yes.
plan for everything.
Yeah.
We take a look at that for all of our events. We try and do the best to
Yeah.
pick evenings that the most people can attend, but there's never a perfect eagle.
Yeah, you can't catch them all. There's
No.
no way.
No.
It's just not the reality of modern living, as I call it today.
Yes. No, there's no way to do that.
So then once we go through the process, we're looking at this. Now, maybe you said this and I didn't catch it, but so when do they actually make okay, I come, I like a certain program here, then don't you have to have availability in that program? Wouldn't be some programs might be a little bit more demand for them?
Yeah, we do have programs that are very high in demand, and those programs can fill up very quickly. And we can have, if we can take 24 to 25 spots in a program, we can have 40 or 50 students apply for those programs. So it just depends on what the program is and what students are interested in.
Okay, I wondered how flexible that was. What about, let's say I go and I think I like this program and I start in and then I decide, well, it's not my thing. How do you shift on that?
We do have a period of time, once a student starts at Pioneer,
Right.
that they can make that decision and we can try to get them into the program they would like to go to. It's
Okay.
usually somewhere between 2.5 weeks. And we set a deadline. The students know very well, the families know well. When they come to orientation, we communicate that hey, if you're accepted into a program and you make a decision that you really don't like it, we'll try to get you into a program that you do want to be in or you do like.
Mm-hmm.
But you usually have about a 2-week trial period to get into that other program.
Well, I was always kind of curious how that worked because, I could see where this is why everything that you're doing in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and you go out and see the counselors and all this process, it pays dividends because you kind of, I always say you're doing reconnaissance.
Yeah, and it's a very fluid process because you can have a student that comes and visits in January and says, welding is what I want to do. That's where I want to go. I want to do that. Apply, get accepted, and maybe over the summer they get a job and they're doing construction work with a family member, and they say, you know what? I was accepted into welding, but I changed my mind. I really want to get into something in the construction field. We can make that change over the summer if there's openings. If we can accommodate that with families, we're there in the summer. Email, we have a contact on our website. Parents can email in, phone calls. We try to be as accommodating as we can be. Obviously, there's just gets to a point where you just sometimes because of capacity in classes, you just can't do it. But if it can happen, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, you'll try to make it happen.
Absolutely.
You're like me. I always say you want to be an I can person, not the I can't.
Well,
because
one
as
of the
best
things
as you
that we
can.
talk about all the time is we want to serve our communities.
Yeah.
And that's big for us. We want to serve our students, we want to serve our communities, and do the best we can to make that work.
Well, and if you have a person, if a person likes what they do, they tend to put more effort into it,
Yes.
and they take it more serious. Let's just be honest.
And they're usually more successful.
Yes, there you go, and that's the outcome that you want.
Yes. And our instructors at Pioneer are first class. We will have instructors, we may be outside that 2-week trial period and go to an instructor and say, hey, I know you have a spot. I know we're outside the 2-week trial period, but we have a student that loves your area and really wants to be with you. If we can make it happen, we will still try to make it happen.
Well, it's somewhat of a rigorous process because, like I said, and this process starts, like you said, in the fall, and then we have the sophomore visitations in the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get people together, you get parents together, then it kind of hones itself and narrows itself down where you're actually signing for the programs. You've given us a good idea today. What happens if certain variables don't work out?
Yeah.
That you can resolve it. I mean, it's usually something that's, most things are fixable. You just got to look at them and see whether you can make it work, correct?
Yeah, most things are fixable. We always have situations that come up. And this is such a fluid process from the time a student sees a program, they apply for the program, they change their mind, different factors come into play. It's a rigorous process. It's something that we take a look at. From the time students start to apply, we will take a look at this on a weekly and sometimes daily basis to make sure we're doing what we can to best serve the students.
I wanted to ask you this on here, and I think I've asked you this the last time you were on. Director of Operations, how long have you been Director of Operations over there now?
This is my 4th year as Director of Operations at Pioneer.
But you had other background prior to being a Director of Operations.
Yes, I was a supervisor at Pioneer
That's what I thought.
of career technical programming, and I moved into the Director of Operations office I spent time at other career centers in Ohio as well.
Oh, that's
I
good.
was an assistant director at Ehobie Career Center in Milan.
Yeah.
Loved my time there. I lived just north of Willard, and I took an opportunity and I went to the Vanguard Sentinel Career and Technology Centers, and I worked at the Fremont campus
Wow.
as assistant director, and then I was the director there for a few years. My children got older and got involved in a lot of things,
Uh-huh.
and I needed to be closer to home. I found my way to Pioneer, and it was the best decision I have ever made. I will never leave Pioneer as long as they'll have me.
Yeah.
I love Pioneer and what Pioneer does for students in the communities they serve. It's a phenomenal institution.
Well, the reason I wanted to ask you that is, of course, I had some idea. I didn't realize it was quite that extensive. But see, that wealth of knowledge pays off. When you have people in your personnels like that, you've seen a lot of things over the years and in different circumstances and different situations. That's very, the public might not really realize that's very valuable because you can see some things that they haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah, I think that's been very valuable for what I've done to serve Pioneer. I think I've brought some different aspects of the way things have been done in other places. We haven't changed a lot at Pioneer. I may have added a little bit to what we do
Sure.
just to make it that much better.
You tweak it.
Just little tweaks. But it didn't take long for me when I arrived at Pioneer to realize what an amazing place Pioneer is.
Well, Clay, speaking about amazing, I was just going to say, I don't know if we have much more amazing things. You got anything else you want to share today?
I don't think so. We're just very excited for this time of year.
Yeah, it is. It is an exciting
It's
time.
a super exciting time. I love seeing the sophomores when they come into our building,
Yeah.
and the excitement that they have for the programs they visit. And I always look at it and say, this is our incoming class.
There you go. That's the way you have to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, Clay Frye, I appreciate it. He is the, got to give your title always, Director of Operations at Pioneer Career and Technology Center in Shelby. Best to you in the sophomore visitations in the upcoming years. You guys do a wonderful job over there, training people for the future. And that's what it's about, people with employable skills that can go to work now, because right now there's such demand in the workforce. And we thank you for everything you do over there, and always fun having you folks in Pioneer on the program.
Thank you very much. I enjoy being here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.